I've finally surpassed the technical difficulties, I hope. This just fits with the theme of the week, really. It's been a tough week, you guys. So, this is my Friday live at 5-ish, which, as I was trying to tell you guys before, I'm doing a bit early today. Well, I still have daylight, although I almost lost my daylight. So, here we go. We're just going to work with what we have anyway. And, of course, my internet at home, and of course, this is just the way it's going with the week that I'm having. But anyway, I'm going to share with you guys some real talk here about what my experience of the week has been like. And I decided to call this Life, Both Beautiful and Hard. Hi, brother. Hi, Christina. Here with me. So I'm basically going to speak today a little bit about how this week has been a struggle for me as a doctor, as a mom, as a coach, as a pregnant lady, as a daughter, because there's been lots of stuff that has come up. And I'm going to tell you about some really good stuff that's happening this month at the Antifragility and what you can be looking forward to on this Facebook page. But first I'm going to start with a bit of a story for you guys. So I think sometimes, I just want to preface this by saying, I think sometimes people come, oh gosh, my sound is not good. Oh my gosh. This is just going to be one of these kind of weeks, I think. Is it any better now, Brooke? No, maybe not. Oh, well, I'm going to keep on trying and seeing if I can get this out. And if this doesn't turn out, then so be it. Clearly, I'll be the theme of the week. You guys. Real life. Oh, I don't know whether to laugh or cry. Okay. Oh. You get a weird fuzzy thing sometimes. And plug them back in. See if it's any better. Any better, Brooke? Thank you for letting me know. Oh my gosh, I might just have to quit while I'm ahead here. Let's see. Apparently I also just did something to my computer screen. Okay, she says she can hear me again. So, oh man. Okay, so where I'm trying to go with this is that I think when people think about life coaching, sometimes we have some preconceived notions. I know I certainly did before I was ever exposed to any of this. And I think I thought like life coaching meant you had to feel good all the time. Everything had to be perfect. You had to be able to think lots of nice platitudes to yourself. You had to be excessively positive, and that it was about fixing all of the external things that were broken in our lives. And so I think many people come to life coaching thinking that maybe life coaching can fix those external things, or even maybe that it's just about doing deep breathing and meditation and yoga. And so, you know, I like to say these people are wrong, or at least they're wrong about the type of life coaching that we're trained to do at the Life Coach School, which is where I did my certification. We call ourselves causal coaches because, yes, we do look at the underlying reasons why things are not happening the way we want them to happen in our lives. But that doesn't come down to fixing external things. Sometimes it comes to that, but by and large, most problems in our life can be fixed by understanding the way in which we're thinking about things. But here's the thing. Sometimes we don't always want to fix something, and it's not always about fixing things. And there's many ways we can feel better without trying necessarily to fix things. And sometimes it's not even about feeling better, you guys. Sometimes it's just about allowing ourselves to be human. And that is really what I want to tell you guys about today. So, I have had one heck of a week. My mom has been visiting, and my mom is certainly a common trigger for me to have lots of feelings. She's going through a divorce right now. There's lots of stuff going on with her and her spouse. It's a bit of a contentious divorce. And so, there's a lot of tension here. And she's asking me for a lot of help with things. I really haven't been feeling well all week. You guys know I'm pregnant. It's been a rough go. I showed up Tuesday night to my coaching call and I was in tears because I was dealing with frustrations. But I looked at it and I was like, I'm showing up human. This is the real me. This is me. I don't hide anymore. I feel authentically me. And, I tried a few things throughout the week to try to feel better. I tried some extra sleep. And really, this all kind of wound up with me in a puddle of tears this morning on my coaching call. And today, I took a walk with a patient of mine who lost her baby on day 3 of life in December of this year, and she's pregnant again, and she wanted to go and visit labor and delivery. And so I took her up there and we did a walk to see what it was like to be there again, because she's pregnant again and she's, in anticipation of having this next baby and feeling like she wanted to feel like it was going to be a safe space for her to go. So it's been a week filled with lots and lots and lots of emotion. And I showed up to life this morning thinking to myself, I'm failing everyone. I'm going to make some kind of awful mistake. I can't do it all. I should just quit. My coach sent me this really long list of thoughts that I shared with her this morning, which is really just the story that I was in this morning. I'm behind on everything. It's not okay because people depend on me. I'm exhausted. I can't do anything right now. I'm going to do something wrong. I lie to myself. I say I'm going to catch up, and then I don't. I'm torn between work and spending time with my mom and my daughter. I'm not organized. People are going to get upset with me. It's my responsibility. And I'd had this dream last night that I took this patient up to labor and delivery, and it didn't go well. And while we were there, she said to me, I never want to see you again. And she fired me as her doctor. And I just had this overwhelming feeling that I was letting everybody down and that I couldn't trust myself. I was overcommitted. I was unpredictable. And I'm not the person who should be coaching anybody right now. And this is the story that I was in. Okay? And it was creating a lot of pain for me. But here's the thing. I didn't need someone to make me feel better. I didn't need something to make me feel better. What I needed to do was to feel my real human emotions, because they are part of my story and part of my experience of this world. And it's fascinating, really, because my coach and I spent some time talking this morning about the concept of upper limiting beliefs. And this whole entire story that I was telling myself this morning was filled with this idea of upper limiting beliefs. And this is why I share this with you guys today, because it was a fascinating contrast to the last 2 weeks of my life. The last 2 weeks of my life have been filled with massive action, some movement towards some things that I really wanted happening in my life. And I was feeling really passionate about some things. And then bam, slam, I'm hit with this week, right? Hi, Carolyn. Just feeling like I have a total emotional hangover, right? Filled with sadness, despair, this feeling of failing, like this feeling of desperation, this victimhood, right? And the thing is that I am in the middle of planning a big, bold, beautiful launch for you guys. And, for anybody who's ready to come on board and wants to learn how to do this coaching stuff so that you're able to work on some of these issues that you're struggling with yourself, like, this next launch is going to be amazing. But when I started to allow myself to dream about the way this was going to unfold and how this was going to be, bam, my brain hits the upper limiting beliefs. Bam, right? It's like, there it is. There's the ceiling. It can't be this good. I can't let myself feel like it could possibly be this amazing. There has to be a reason why there's a problem. And so then my brain went down this avenue of finding all the ways in which things weren't working for me anymore, and why everything was going to fail, and why it couldn't possibly work out the way I wanted it to. So what do we do? What's the lesson here? Why am I telling you this story, right? It's not just so that you guys can all feel bad for me and give me pity. I promise. There's a purpose to this, okay? The purpose of this really is to understand that we don't always, the lesson can't be found if we just jump over the painful stuff. If we just search for the platitudes, if we just try to find the ways that we can find the silver lining in things, then we don't really understand what is the cause of the negative results that we're getting in our life, the things we don't want. And so if we spend this time doing this work and we really truly understand that, then we can find a place where we can decide if we want to think differently about things. So that's what my coach and I did. We spent some time looking at these thoughts, questioning whether or not they were true, looking at the evidence that I have to support them, looking at whether or not these thoughts were making it harder for me, which was overwhelmingly true, that the way I was thinking about things was making everything harder for me. And so she asked me to sit and think for a few minutes after we'd gone through this piece where we processed through these emotions, and we really looked to understand what exactly I was thinking that was fueling this terrible, concoction of emotions that I was experiencing, okay? We looked to see what were the thoughts that were fueling that. And we just decided, okay, maybe we can just let those be there and hold them in one hand. But if in the other hand, we were to hold what my true self would offer me when it comes to how I want to approach these things, then what might happen? And so she helped me to create a model using the self-coaching model that we use. And all she asked me was, if the emotion that was fueling what you do today was love, then what would you be thinking, and what would you do, and what would the result be that you would create? And we broke it down to just this one little tiny simple thing, a pile of forms that I felt like were hanging over my head from October and November. And I said, it's always easier than I think when I actually sit down and get to work and get the things done. And so I decided that I wanted that to be my filter with which I approached the rest of the day today, that it could be easier than I think it's going to be. And that for me fuels love towards myself. And, I sat down and made some choices today. I was supposed to make a house call. I made a choice to turn it into a phone call. I made the choice to get those oldest few forms, the ones that were the most pressing, done. I made a choice that even though I was experiencing a lot of fear about this experience of bringing my patient who had lost her baby to labor and delivery and walking with her onto the labor and delivery floor, even though I'd had this terrible nightmare the night before that it wasn't going to go well and she was going to fire me and it was going to be, a visit filled with hysterics, I reminded myself that the reason I offered her to accompany her there was because I don't want to live in a world where mums are grieving their, the loss of their 2-day-old child. She doesn't want to live in a world where mums are grieving the loss of their 2-day-old child. But I knew I could accompany her and walk with her through that journey. Why? Because I have been doing that since that baby died. And even though I came at this day from this place of lack, or this place of like an emotional void, I knew I still had something to offer her. And I knew I wanted to show up and offer her whatever I had. And that's what I did. I approached this day with love for her, love for me. Came home. I did a little bit of work planning what I was going to talk to you guys about. And here we are, right? And interestingly, emotionally, I'm quite shifted. It was actually very hard for me being there with her on labor and delivery. But I'm quite shifted again about all of it. And naturally, this shift has happened over the course of the day because I was able to allow myself to feel the things that I needed to feel today. I was able to look at what my unintentional way of thinking about things was this week and to just recognize what that was creating for me in my life. And once I realized what this was creating, it was actually easier for me at this point that I am at in my journey, because I've done a lot of coaching work, to pivot towards something that I'm using much more often in my life, which is this model that things can be a lot easier than I think they're going to be. They don't always have to be as hard as our brains tell us they're going to be. And even though, I know that life can be hard, I also know that there's beauty in the challenge, right? There's beauty and there's growth. And that is the whole meaning behind this concept of antifragility that we use here in this group, right? Is we can grow from the challenges that we face. And this is my life with life coaching. So I share this story with you really to give you an example of how life coaching can carry us through the hard times. It's not with sunshine and roses and rainbows, but it's with really finding a place where we can allow ourselves to feel our feelings, where we can understand where our brain is, where we can be in it and hold space for ourselves to be in it if we need to be in it, and where we start to create new neural pathways that guide us towards the results that we want to have in our life. And I feel so blessed to have the privilege of helping other people do this, in addition to having this skill to be able to use on my own. So if you want to understand this work on a deeper level, I'm going to tell you about a few things that are coming up in the next little bit. Most of them are free things that are coming up in this group if you're interested. And so I'd highly suggest that if you haven't yet signed up, that you join us for the Imposter Syndrome Masterclass, which is happening tomorrow at 4 p.m. I'll post, after this video finishes, I'll post the link to sign up for the webinar in the comments of the videos. So please do join us. There's going to also be a special bonus for anybody who's thinking that they want to jump into coaching as soon as we launch later this month. So you will really want to be there if you want that, because you only get it if you attend live tomorrow. Okay, what else? So I'm going to be opening up a couple days in early January to do consult calls with anybody who wants to know more about coaching and really say, like, this is what's going on in my life. Can coaching help me? So you can come on, you can connect with me, and I will help you. I'm going to do those January 2nd and January 4th. I'll be opening up those dates soon. Also, we always have this group, so you can always feel free to post about what's coming up for you. Ask, like, how can I use coaching to approach this? I'm happy to give you some tips and kind of guide you. That's really what this group is here for. And I've got another Ask a Coach coming up. I had a lot of fun doing the one last weekend, so I'm going to do that on December 20th. I haven't figured out the time yet, but that's the date for now, so you can kind of mark off that date on your calendar. What else? And because I have an amazing expanding team, which I'm very excited to introduce you guys to over the course of this month, in early January, I'm going to do a coach panel as well, so you'll be able to meet them, see their faces, hear what they love to coach on, hear their own experiences with coaching, and hear what their coaching expertise is. And then the last thing I wanted to tell you guys about is the week of December 14th. we're going to be having a very fun giveaway. So I'm going to give away 3 of my favorite books and 2 books that are on my maternity list to read. I don't get a whole lot of reading in these days. So they're works in progress for me, and I've read bits and pieces of them, but not cover to cover yet. But I'm going to give away 5 books and then 1 big grand prize at the end of the week to a lucky winner. So you guys will want to stay tuned for that and make sure you participate on the post. Okay, that's all I have to ramble at you guys today. Sorry for the multiple attempts for anybody that was there earlier when I was having some technical difficulties. It so fits the theme of the week, really. I mean, nothing is lost on me anymore when it comes to this kind of stuff, you guys. So thanks everybody who was here and who helped me resolve my technical issues. Brooke, thank you.